Is it a cinematic sensation? Is it a masterpiece of animation? Or a terrible train wreck like Jambareeqi check? If a movie needs an exorcism, he'll smite the demon with criticism. If it deserves attention, he'll give it a heartfelt mention. A strawberry rating 1 to 5. Jambareeqi reviews.
Howdy folks, Jambareeqi here. I have a little confession to make. I've never watched a Ray Harryhausen film before. Sure, I caught glimpses of his films on TV, and yes, I've seen plenty of documentaries on the man, but I've never watched one of his films all the way through. I'm going to be changing that today as I review Jason and the Argonauts. When the evil Polias misinterprets a prophecy given to him by the gods, he ends up slaying members of the royal family in Hera's temple, in an attempt to usurp their throne. Little does Polias know that there is a prince who has escaped by the name of Jason. Hera, angered by the murder in her temple, promises to become Jason's protector and warns Polias about a man with a missing sandal. 20 years later, Polias confronts a grown-up Jason while he wears only one sandal. Jason doesn't know who Polias is, but tells the king that he wants to reclaim his family's throne by killing Polias. Not only that, he hopes to restore his people's faith in the gods with help from the legendary Golden Fleece, a garment with great powers located in Colchis. Polias encourages Jason to find the fleece in hopes that the journey will kill him, and he sends his son Acastus on the voyage too, in a bid to sabotage the trip. So Jason gathers a team of able-bodied men, boards a ship called the Argo, named after its builder Argos, and travels to Colchis. Along the way, the Argonauts face many dangerous threats. I'll admit that this film has a very rushed start, as it quickly sets up the plot of the movie as fast as it can, then BAM! Jason is now an adult and ready to start his adventure. But the setup of the film isn't really the strength of the movie, it's the adventure that the Argonauts take. The plot is just there to give an excuse for the voyage to happen, and the story exists to loosely tie together the special effects sequences. The audience is here to be invested in Jason's battles against monsters and watch him solve problems that can help him progress. We never know what kind of threat or puzzle our heroes will face next. It could be anything. Every set piece is a surprise, and it's this imaginative unpredictability that drives the movie. There's also plenty of exciting Greek mythology inspired ideas in this sword and sandals film, to help build the world Jason explores. Although I can't say how faithful the film is to its source material, as I'm not entirely caught up on my Greek mythology. But I've read that there are changes that may annoy purists. I'm going to give 4 points to the content. Jason makes for a great hero. He's honest and true, but brave and courageous. He always tries to be a sensible leader by urging his crew to be smart thinking about whatever is ahead. However, he's not afraid to stand up to the gods by challenging their cruelty or questioning their logic. He's brash and fearless, but also willing to be responsible. Medea, a high priestess for Colchis, becomes smitten by Jason and is even willing to betray her people to support him. I'll confess that I didn't find her to be very interesting. She could have been an awesome new member for the Argonauts, a priestess with cool powers to contribute to the team. But she's reduced to being a Hollywood damsel in distress, whisked away from her humdrum life by the dashing hero. She's the token female love interest, an old-fashioned cliche that greatly dates the movie. To be fair, she does help the Argonauts escape from prison in one scene, and she serves as a demonstration for the Fleece's powers. But whenever there's a conflict or fight, she's pretty much rendered useless. Acastus is not very good at throwing the crew off his intentions, because he can be really whiny when attempting to change Jason's mind about some things. So I'm surprised no one caught on to him. I guess he works as an annoying antagonist, a bad guy you can enjoy hating, but I wouldn't say he's threatening or a remarkable bad guy, just an obnoxious brat. Argos makes for a good right-hand man for Jason, using his knowledge of the sea wisely and not being afraid to scold Jason for being reckless. Despite being the oldest crew member, he has a lot of energy and life in him. The gods are pretty fun, they have a lot of class and nobility to them, but deep down you can tell that they are just as petty as those on Earth, and treat the humans as pawns in games to keep them entertained or protect their egos. Their behaviour brings up the interesting question about how far figures of authority can take their position. When does their use of power become too cruel? A philosophical debate that many modern real-world audiences can relate to. They seem to be enjoying themselves during Jason's voyage in a dark sort of way, but we can tell that they're becoming charmed by Jason's bravery and honesty, especially Hera, who finds her role as his protector to be very personal. Hercules is one of the more defined Argonauts, and actually one of my favourite characters in the film. He always seems so jolly and upbeat, ready for a good task or fight. Not to mention, when an Argonaut goes missing, Herc won't leave the island until he's found. That's pretty commendable. But even though he's a legendary hero, even he can be foolish enough to tamper with the gods' rules. I'm going to give 4 points to the characters. Okay, let's be fair, the real star of this movie is Ray Harryhausen. His special effects are the major reason why this film has stood the test of time and become a cult classic. His stop-frame animated monsters are detailedly crafted, with so much work being put into each model, but they also move so smoothly and fluidly for the time the film was made. You can also tell that Harryhausen has thought very intellectually about each creature's personality, using their textures, bodies, or sizes to inspire their animation. From the rusty, slow movement of Talos, the living bronze statue, to the frantic, malicious attacks from the spiteful harpies. These amazing sequences all culminate towards the film's iconic climax, where the Argonauts fight an army of skeletons armed with swords and shields. This finale still looks impressive to this day, showing how much thought has gone into choreographing the skeletons' reactions and strikes when interacting with the live-action actors. Imagine the patience and intelligence you need to pull off a scene like this, at a time without the aid of computers. Sure, the film's compositing of humans and monsters does look a little iffy in today's standards, especially when you can tell when an actor has suddenly been turned into a stop-motion puppet. But it's this primitiveness that adds to the charm of the film and the magic of Ray Harryhausen. He would always push himself, no matter what technology or resources he was limited to at the time. I'm going to give 4 points to the animation. Todd Armstrong plays Jason. He's definitely got the looks of an action hero, and I love his charismatic smile, but credit should also be given to his dub voice actor, Tim Turner. He gives Jason's voice a very regal but sincere tone.
We reach land at noon. Then you can fill your bellies until they grumble as much as your tongues. Now mark this. It will be safe to take food and water, but nothing else.
Nancy Kovac plays Medea. Like I said, she's a very flatly written character, and sadly, Kovac doesn't really bring much to the role. Sure, she looks genuinely attracted to Jason. You can tell that she was smitten by Todd Armstrong's good looks, but her acting is just a little off, a bit too campy for the character. Her dub voice actress Ava Haddon doesn't make things any better with her soap opera style acting.
Forget the golden fleece. I fear for your safety. If you're set on carrying it away, I must come with you.
As I said, Acastus comes off as very whiny, and this is mainly Gary Raymond's fault. He tries too hard to be wormy and conniving, but just comes off as an irritating, spoilt brat.
Having sailed this far together, I suppose we're free to speak our minds.
And what's on yours, Acastus?
We nose our way upstream, rush the guards and seize the fleece.
Lawrence Naismith is great as Argos. He's got this bellowing timbre voice that is so perfect for a character that needs to command a ship.
The rest of you be prepared to row when I give the word. At an easy stroke, save your strength.
They may need it later.
Zeus is played by Niall McGuinness, really nailing the idea that he is the head of the gods with a majestic demeanour.
Zeus, my godly husband, did you for some reason order the profanation of my temple in Thessaly?
That was entirely the fault of Polias. Not content with winning the throne of Thessaly as I wished, he tried to avoid losing it as I've commanded.
Honor Blackman plays Hera, treating her role as protector with subdued dignity and soft kindness.
I am Hera, queen of the gods, and your protector on this voyage. But my lord Zeus has decreed a limit to the number of times I may help you when you call upon me.
Nigel Green plays Hercules, and while he's not in the film for long, and he's not as muscle-bound as most Hercs we've seen on screen, he's definitely having so much fun playing the legendary demigod.
He's here! I mean to sail with you, Jason. Tell me which champion you want me to beat.
No one. I know you can beat us all.
The rest of the cars can be a bit too hammy, but that's mainly because of the corny dialogue they're given from the script.
Hecate, Queen of Darkness, revenge yourself against the Thessalians. Deliver to me the children of the Hydra's teeth. The children of the night!
I'm going to give 3 points to the acting. The music for this film was composed by the highly respected Bernard Herrmann, the man behind Alfred Hitchcock's movie scores. The unique aspect about Herrmann's score for this film is that it ignores the string section altogether, letting the brass instruments steal the show through heroic fanfares and victorious trumpeteering. All sounds that conjure up feelings of adventure and excitement, supporting the imaginative journey that the Argonauts are taking. Even without the option to use strings, Herrmann manages to make a very versatile score with the instruments he's left with. Whether it's sinister tension with slow horns, or whimsical delight with magical harp plucking. It must have been very challenging for Herrmann to compose a score without strings, but sometimes leaving your comfort zone can lead to amazing achievements. I'm going to give 5 points to the music. Yes, this film may not have aged well with some of its melodramatic acting and old-fashioned script, but it's Ray Harryhausen's amazing special effects that kept this film alive and made it into a cult classic. They look so damn good, even to this day. He proves that stop-motion animation can be used for incredible effects. Jason and the Argonauts has gained a total of 20 points, which translates to 4 golden strawberries out of 5. If you enjoyed the work of Ray Harryhausen, then you should check this one out, because apparently it's considered to be his magnum opus. I'd just like to point out that the graphics for this video were produced by Toongrin. If you'd like to request commissions from them, here's their website on screen. I've been Jambareeqi and I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, then feel free to subscribe to my channel. Also, consider supporting me by making a monthly pledge to my Patreon in return for awesome rewards. Thank you. So, he says, while stroking his ginger beard, what am I going to be reviewing in the next episode of this show? Well, get out your guitars and start to shred them, because next month I'll be discussing rock and roll. Cheerio, folks.